大家好 to all you awesome Chinese learners. Today, we're going to learn 5 of the most commonly used 成语. 成语 are Chinese idioms, which are a much bigger part of the Chinese language and culture than idioms are in English. So being able to use the right 成语 at the right time is a skill that is really admired and valued by native speakers. In order to help you develop this skill, we're not only going to give you the English translations for these 成语, we're also going to take them apart, character by character, and explain some situations in which you should or shouldn't use them. If you like learning 成语 with us today, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to make sure that you don't miss any of the 20 other 成语 that we're going to be teaching across the next few weeks. So, here's a little bonus 成语 for you. 闲言少叙. Let's go for it. 半途而废，半途而废。In 半途而废, the first character, 半 means half. The second, 途 means path or way. The third, 而 is a character that's a bit more abstract. It connects a condition to the result. So in this case, it's connecting the condition 半途, halfway, to the result 废, which means to give up or abandon. So when you put it together, you get 半途而废, which means to give up halfway. 半途而废 is one of the many 成语 that has been used in the same way for approximately 2,000 years, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. It's basically the same as if we English speakers were using quotes from ancient Latin text in our daily conversations. It's just one of the things that makes Chinese so cool. 半途而废 is used to describe when someone gives up partway through an endeavor. That being said, it is not used for trivial things, like if someone just doesn't finish their meal. Instead, it's used when someone is doing something difficult and gives up without seeing it through to the end. For example, you and your friend go out on a hike, and when only halfway up, your friend says they're too tired and they just want to stop and turn back. Here you could say, 我们都爬了一半了，不能半途而废. Or maybe you are working on a team project at school or work, and you can tell that your teammates are getting kind of discouraged. Here you could say, 我们要加油，不能半途而废. 不可思议，不可思议. In 不可思议, 不 means not, 可 means can. So together, 不可 means cannot. 思 means to think or consider. And in this 成语, 意 has its old meaning of speech or language. So when pieced together, it's saying something like someone cannot even start to formulate thoughts or speech about something. More practically, 不可思议 is used to describe something that is inconceivable and cannot be understood. For example, you hear that Usain Bolt ran the 100 meter in just 9.58 seconds, and you say, 不可能，太不可思议了. Or you're talking about your friend who speaks fluent Chinese after just 6 months of study, and you say, 他只学了6个月中文就说得这么好，真是不可思议。废寝忘食，废寝忘食. The first character in 废寝忘食 is 废. Do you recognize it? It's the same 废 that you saw in our first 成语, 半途而废, and it means to give up or abandon. Next is 寝, which can mean sleep. Then there's 忘, which means to forget. And lastly, 食, which means food. As you can probably piece together, 废寝忘食 means to forget food and rest. But the trick is knowing when and how to use it, because 废寝忘食 isn't just used whenever someone has poor sleep or eating habits. Instead, it's used when you want to praise somebody for how hard they're working on something. So, for example, you have a child or a friend who is studying really hard for their final exam, and you say, 为了准备期末考试，这几天他废寝忘食的学习。You can even use it to talk about yourself. Maybe you're working long and late hours at work, and you say, 我这周工作太忙了，简直就是废寝忘食啊。东张西望，东张西望。In 东张西望, dōng means east, xi means west, and zhāng is a word that means to look. In a pattern that you'll see in many 成语, 东西 and 张望 are broken up and recombined into 东张西望, which means to look this way and that. It has two main uses. The first is to describe somebody who is distracted and looking around aimlessly. Maybe you're a teacher giving a lesson, and you notice one of the students is completely zoned out and just looking around the classroom. And you say, 你要注意听我讲课，别东张西望的。The second use for this 成语 is to describe somebody who is standing still and looking left and right. So maybe you see somebody standing on the sidewalk who seems lost, and you say, 那个人在那儿东张西望的，好像是迷路了。Note that 东张西望 isn't used for someone who is walking around in search for something or scanning the shelves while shopping. Instead, it's used for someone who is standing still and has a feeling of either being distracted or being lost or is looking for something that they expect to show up. 不相上下，不相上下。In 不相上下, 不 means not, and 相 means each other, and is used when you're connecting or comparing two things together. 上 means up, and 下 means down. Put them together, you get 不相上下, which is saying that when you compare two things together, neither one is higher or lower than the other. They're evenly matched, or there's little difference between them. 不相上下 is quite versatile and can be used to express that two things are indistinguishable in quality, price, distance, weight, and so on. So maybe you're talking about two different pieces of clothing, and you say, 这两件衣服的质量差不多，不相上下. Or maybe you're talking about two of your friends that speak Chinese, and you say, 他们两个的中文水平不相上下. We hope you enjoyed learning these 成语 with us today. I'm sure you'll find that they really come in handy, and that Chinese speakers are really impressed when they hear you use them. They might even say, 哇，你连成语都会了，不可思议啊. We've been working really hard on this 成语 content. You could even say, 我们废寝忘食的努力，把这些视频内容准备好。There's 20 more idioms that we'll be teaching over the course of the next few weeks, so be sure to subscribe. We hope you continue learning with us. 所以不要半途而废，好吗？ Okay, I'm done now. 谢谢大家的观看，我们下周见。